And I think gamers, you know, I think they use it a lot when they record themselves playing games and stuff like that, I think is what it is.
Don't know.
I don't know 100%.
Pretty sure that's.
Yeah, but.
And I think gamers,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I think they use it a lot when they record themselves.
Just truncate anybody's name on this ballot. I was thinking that Supreme Court justice one, it might, but it didn't. The only other thing I think you're gonna have to change on the ballot, when we get further in, is I think, like, for the issues, I think it says like for issue 1 against issue 1, I think is how the
Yeah,
verbiage.
and I need to remember to do that. Two line.
Yeah, 2-line heads.
Okay, I'm gonna check
Yeah.
that and see.
Ballot.
So did you change anything in your email notices other than that odd garble in the date?
Our garble, because I cut and pasted and I left that July 1st stuff in there.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Tom?
Morning.
Oh, I need to go get the sign, don't I?
Yeah.
You have to be careful when you cut and paste anything.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
It alerts the voter, yeah, Evelyn, if you look at that. It alerts the voter if they try to quit the ballot instead of casting it.
Jennifer's Chris, SBC.
Oh, okay.
That's the important stuff.
Good morning. I'm good, how are you? Oh, fun. Okay. All right. I would have to look at it and see, not that I'm aware of, but I think all of the machines have like an audit log. But I would almost have to think you would have to have that stick from that night to look at it. But I can ask Debbie, and we can look to see if we can find that and look and see, definitively, and I'll let you know.
Morning, Miss Evelyn.
Good morning. How you feeling today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm kind of tired, but other than that, I'm all right.
Kind of what?
Tired and kind of frustrated trying to get here this morning with the school traffic and everything.
Yep. Started back up, and
I live on the west side of town off of Weddington, and they've added some more subdivisions over there over the last few months.
tell me a place where they haven't added subdivisions
Yeah.
in northwest Arkansas.
Till you put that last couple of words in, I was gonna say there's a long list of places.
Yeah, northwest Arkansas. Everywhere.
And with all the subdivisions, being in real estate, with all the subdivisions, you'd think that helped keep some of the prices down for housing.
Yeah.
But there was I saw on Facebook a few days ago, and I've experienced this in buying and selling, that our area, Fayetteville, Springdale, they call it the metro area, has the highest percentage of increase in price of housing in the United States.
Yeah.
The highest percentage
Of increase,
okay.
and price increase. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait
that's,
till a reassessment next year,
If
and
there's,
bump it further.
Yeah.
that's,
And that's from the National Association of Realtors, not just our local.
Behind the times, because if they're gathering data from all over the country, there's a lag.
There were several that were in Florida, Arizona, Utah, thinking there was one in Texas maybe, but of all of those areas, our area was first in it.
I don't doubt that a bit. I mean, we're a destination, location for
Nowadays,
people moving, and, it's really, I guess it all starts with, the requirement by, Walmart to have vendors,
Oh, yeah.
have somebody, have an office here. And once that became fully operational, it just sort of,
Yeah, that's when you got the big spike in the
well,
high-end
builds,
housing.
it just kind of builds on itself, you know?
Well, when I was covering Benton County, most of the previous decade, there was a row of little old houses right across from the county administration building.
Yeah.
Been there forever. Same people live there on those houses.
Yeah,
They're all gone.
yeah,
Most have been replaced by, like two-story townhome type things.
yeah.
And I asked somebody one time, and this was 6 or 8 years ago, and the lowest rent in that area was like $2,000 a month. Okay. I mean, and people were just waiting, people who had homes, and they're just waiting to, I'm gonna see what I can get, and then I'll sell and move.
but then where do you move to?
Yeah, that was the downside. You waited too long, and all those houses like the one you were selling were all sold out.
Well,
Even the outlying areas, Elkins, Westford,
every,
Prairie Grove, it's not unusual. Last summer, we sold a house over in Prairie Grove, and you'd think that's a little bit more affordable, right? And, the house was not a brand new construction, it was already a couple of years old. Maybe 5, something like that, and the subdivision was nice. 192 square foot in Prairie Grove,
how much?
192 square foot.
Wow, wow. Hey, girl,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm all right, how about you?
I'm all right, too.
Good.
I reckon.
You reckon?
Are you?
Yeah.
Everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay.
As long as we're all in August.
It's, starting to pick up a little momentum here, with, elections and election commission and all this good stuff.
I didn't realize there was such a big break between the last time we met
Yeah.
and today's meeting, so it was a little getting back into the rhythm of getting the meeting stuff all together. We're like, oh, yeah, we gotta do this, don't forget this, so.
The rhythm.
Yep.
Well, got color pictures, telling you, the rhythm is here.
Yeah.
Rhythm of the rain, they should make a song about that. What kind of,
I remember that song.
I know.
But who did it? Is the question.
What kind of, real estate work do you do? Are you just, you sell houses, or you a realtor?
I'm a licensed realtor.
Licensed realtor?
I primarily do election work and then, and let my husband do the real estate, because he's a realtor as well.
Okay.
But I work with him sometimes.
Do y'all work for a real estate?
Liker, out of Springdale office. Although it has, Liker has,
I'm thinking,
Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, and Fort Smith.
oh, that one I know.
So they're all up and down the corridor.
Morning, Chairman Oschlager.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay, my thing
Okay,
is not
all I
working.
have in my head is conga drums and the rhythm of the night. I am missing the rhythm of the.
The rhythm of the rain?
It's the rain, yeah.
The Cascade.
That's
Yes.
it, yeah.
The Cascades was the name of the group, that's right. I think they were a one-hit wonder, maybe, I don't know.
Everybody was.
Max will not be here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
couldn't make it, huh?
Okay.
I guess it's just you and me, girl.
I think we can handle it.
I think so.
Got a new pen.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to take the tip off mine.
You want me to keep the tip and put it back on when I'm finished?
I'll have to find mine.
I've already thrown it away, huh? Well,
Well,
here, see, I looked at this little container, or this little hole here, and I thought, oh, that's like
Put it in
trash
there.
there, right? I won't do that. Okay. Oh, so, is everybody recovered from, you've had a good long rest, so
I think
now
so.
it's time to,
Yep.
No, I'm resting.
Let's rock and roll.
oh, yeah?
We're going camping tomorrow.
Ah, so you didn't get your vacation out during the normal time, huh?
Oh, I've been to the beach since last.
Oh, have you?
Where'd you go to the beach?
We went to Port Bolivar.
Where's that?
It's across the channel from Galveston. You ride the ferry.
Down in, Texas.
Fun.
Is it pretty nice down there?
It's not bad.
Not bad?
I mean, it's not Florida beaches, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's a whole lot closer to.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
Good.
Good.
I used to love the beach and the ocean and everything. I just don't, I can't go out and lay in the sun. It's just, I never have, even when I liked to play in the ocean, when I was a kid, you know, I'd go out there and stay all day.
Mhm.
But I never have enjoyed laying in the sun.
Oh,
Just
same with
not
me.
something
Yeah.
I can do.
5 minutes in the sun and it's like, I'm going inside.
Oh, I got my good sunburn by just sitting.
Did
in the
you?
Well,
water.
you look like you got a little bit,
Oh,
yeah.
so that was yesterday, riding in Tanya's convertible.
Oh.
We went to go visit a site yesterday, and Tanya rode.
Did it in the convertible, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, how
That might have
funny.
been a mistake, 'cause it was nice, but it was hot.
Yeah, you look like you got a little bit of
Yeah.
sun too.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, how funny. Well, you girls will never learn.
The other way.
I know, and I go to the dermatologist on Thursday,
Oh.
and I know, she's gonna be like, so you've been in the sun?
Ah,
I'll be like,
yeah.
yeah.
Little bit, huh? Well, it's a little hard to, avoid it, and especially with the temperatures being what they are, it's like you just go out and you're, I am not yet one of those people who has learned to put sunscreen on every single day. And so that probably is not in my favor, long run. I brought one of these that came in the mail. What do you want to do with these?
I probably have this one.
Oh, that guy?
I feel like there was another one that came and I don't know what I did with it.
Just the same one I called you about? Is that
Jason
a
Tate.
different? I don't
No.
think
Let's
I
go
got-
grab my book real quick and
Okay.
see who all I
Okay,
have.
good idea. So,
Getting fan mail?
yeah.
Write-in
Candidates who
candidates.
wanna be right-in.
I guess there's a set of rules, and part of the rules is they have to
Let us
send
know,
an
yeah.
application, a copy of their application to the election commissioners.
I discovered you're friends with her.
Mary Jo Freeman.
Oh, you know?
I think so, I don't know who she is.
Both of them out, or just one? Well, I couldn't get,
She,
I think they're both out.
Facebook
It
friend?
it was grinding,
Yeah,
like it
she's
was trying to do
Facebook
something,
friend.
but never.
Actually, she's a friend from, we went to JBU together,
Oh, okay.
so.
You know what, I may have met her sometime.
Oh,
One had a sign on it that said out of order. The other one, I waited and waited, and it was just grinding, like you could hear it, like
Oh.
one of those, I can't think of the word, pulleys, you know? But it never opened, so.
So the stairways are the, oh boy.
Both of them were out yesterday morning as well.
Oh, is that right? What are they doing? They're just a whole time.
Tired.
I understand that.
Old and tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's new?
The east one has been out, well, this time, since last week, beginning of last
Oh, is that right?
week. And that's the one that generally
Yeah,
goes
it's gone.
out,
Whoa.
goes out. And so the west one, you know, was out of.
I kind of thought they were taking turns to, you know, save their life.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness, how funny.
Maybe get
Still
another
early.
one of those. I did not think of
Yours
that one.
was
They running for governor?
Dan Tate, or
Dan-
Dan Nelson.
Dan was the other one, yeah.
Who is that?
So this one is Jason Tate.
Also
And-
governor.
Yes, when we start the meeting, I'll explain why this is a problem, and this needs to be a law change.
Okay, good. Maybe that's, I mean, you've got a list right now.
Of law changes, yes.
We need to go through that, after the election and find people to, to take some bills down there if they can.
This is a big one
Oh,
that
yeah.
I think needs to be addressed.
Yeah. That clock says 9 o'clock, mine does not. At 8:58.
Yeah. No, if it's on one of these phones, it's the official time.
It's been inspired by Apple.
Yes.
I don't know if that would be my official.
Yeah,
law
I don't
for-
think so
For
either.
anything.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the, real estate business?
September will be 10 years.
10?
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of time showing houses and stuff like that, or your husband does most of that stuff?
Now, he does, since I'm involved more here,
Yeah,
but, we worked together,
yeah.
previously. He's stronger in doing all the documentation stuff, has to go through the computer and stuff. And, then we work together on open houses and networks, when we go to network meetings and stuff like that.
Sure.
Been a lot of changes over the last 10 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen, these,
10 years ago, we were coming out of the housing recession
Oh.
kind of thing. And then it got to be where it was a buyer's market, and now it's definitely a seller's market.
the value of our house is just, we're in Harbor Meadows, is, holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe they tell me that it is that valuable. I think, well, why don't I sell it? And then I think, well, then what would I do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you buy a house comparable to what
Exactly,
you have
yeah.
right now? It's
Exactly.
That's
It's
the
amazing.
hard part.
very fortunate. We moved here in 2015 and we could not afford to live here now.
You're right.
Okay, 9:00,
Okay,
call this meeting to order. Did you get a chance to look at the minutes?
I did. I don't see any.
You good with them?
Yeah, I don't see that.
All right, we'll accept the minutes as presented and move on to the update on limited early vote sites.
Okay. So, for the early vote site, Fayetteville Library has confirmed October 24th, 25th, and 26th. That would be the first week of early voting, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Bud Walton, I am still waiting on dates. And it's not the regular basketball schedule, they have that confirmed. It's exhibition games.
Oh,
And those sometimes come in later,
Right.
but there will be a time where September 7th,
okay,
we
they're
have
gonna have to
they're
cut
gonna
it.
have to give us a
They
date.
will have to cut it off, or we will?
We will, unfortunately, and that's one of the rule changes that I think, it used to be you could set election day and early vote sites 30 days before an election. But the law changed it to 60 days before an election for a general and a primary. And this unfortunately is, we might lose Bud Walton because of that 60-day law change, because at 60 days, we have to have everything set.
Do they understand that?
Yes, they
Okay.
do, but for them, Bud Walton is basketball,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's the important thing for them. So we still have a little bit of time, and I'll keep pushing with them. They want us there, and that is
Okay.
not the issue at all. And we can only be there the first week of early voting unless we're there Monday, Tuesday of the second week, because the last weekend of early vote is the homecoming. So
Oh,
we
there's no
can't be
way,
in Bud
yeah.
Walton because that parking lot is designated for the
Right.
football and all of that. So we're still waiting on dates. It's not that they don't want us
Okay.
there. It's just confirming that basketball
There-
schedule.
There's no way that, since we're on the court, there's no way that,
We're not on the
we're not
court,
on
we're
the court.
in the concourse.
Oh,
We're like
yeah,
when you go-
okay.
Yeah,
Forgive me.
concourse of it, yeah.
Okay.
We're up there, but,
It's just not, you can't do two things like that
No.
in that,
No, you can't carve out
particularly
a
in
part
that
of the
venue.
concourse.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
get on the concourse and walk all the way
Yeah.
around the thing,
That's true,
but
yeah.
you can't block
Yeah.
all that off.
So.
Okay.
But we still have time, and I ask every week, and they're like, still waiting on the schedule. But hopefully,
Do they have any idea when they'll have the schedule?
he doesn't know because they're exhibition games,
Yeah,
and I think that's part of
They're
the
trying to
problem.
find teams to play.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. Weren't we on the court at one time?
We had talked about that,
Okay.
that first time we were there,
Yeah.
but, my fear of messing up the basketball court, we were like, let's just be at the top part.
Yeah, I get
And then
it.
we won't mess up anything.
Right.
So.
Okay, so now we've got Rise,
And that would be the
second week.
Friday or
Thursday and Friday.
Friday and Saturday of the first week.
Oh, on
Yeah.
Saturday, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then Lincoln Community Center, which is the second week, that's Thursday and Friday for it. So those are our limited early vote sites, that we have. Shiloh is the one I did not include on here, that's the one we did, in Springdale.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have great success with it, so I'm not sure if we want to proceed with that one for the, general election. I think it's so close to Elmdale, and Elmdale does such a good volume on Saturday, and they have the space and the availability. You know, sometimes you open up limited early voting because you want to open it up in an area of the county where we don't have early voting, or you're trying to relieve
Mm-hmm.
the early voting at a particular location, and it doesn't kind of meet either one of those criteria.
Okay. So, are we completely crossing off Shiloh then?
No, we have time
Okay.
to think about it, and we, you know, certainly, we don't want to make any decisions on that today.
Okay.
But we can look to see if there's something else, or if we want to try it again, just to see what the numbers might be.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I know that was a disappointment, so.
I think part of the problem for Shiloh is you see it, and it's
Mhm.
very easy to see
Right.
from the road, but then where do I turn to
Mhm.
get to it? And the other problem, was the parking. There was limited parking in front of it, so our staff had to park
Oh,
completely in a
yeah.
different area
Yeah.
and walk to it, which is not that big of a deal. So yeah, so it kind of had that going against it, was where do I turn to go to it? And it's not well known, like Fayetteville Library,
Right.
you say that, everybody
Everybody
knows where Fayetteville Library is. You say Bud Walton, everybody
Mhm.
knows where that is. Right, physical therapy, they might not know where it is, but because of Walmart,
Mhm.
neighborhood market being right next
Mhm.
door to it, we get
Right.
plenty of traffic for it, so yeah.
Okay, so we'll just stay on hold for those and, move on. Election day.
So I spoke with Archer Learning Center, and they assured us of their commitment to being a polling location and as a commitment to the community. So, that won't happen again, they assure us. and
Knock
they-
on wood.
Yes, and they want to be there, and so I think, you know, staying in Archer, you know, with their
Mhm.
reassurances that, that they want us there, is definitely a good thing for the community, since it is one of our longest standing polling places
Right.
that we've had.
Yeah.
We did visit with the American Legion, and it would be a good location for us. It's a little bit closer to like the Jones Center and where, rodeo would be, so I was thinking it
Oh,
could pull
yeah.
voters in from that area. Inside the space is great, but when we went back to review, for ADA, if you'll see, I've got a picture of the site. The handicap parking would have to be at the very back, and then they would have to come all the way up that sidewalk and around to get in. There's parking close.
All the way to the, end where it says entrance?
There's parking that is all close to the entrance, but it doesn't have the accessibility for a wheelchair. It's curbed. So there's
Oh,
no
gotcha.
cutout for a wheelchair. And so that would mean we would have to situate the handicap parking at the back of the building.
Okay.
So that's just something to think about. I mean, that's an acceptable handicap solution. However, it certainly is not ideal.
So what you're saying is these areas in front, which
Mhm.
would be to the east of the building itself, you can't access those as a designated ADA because there's a curb there?
Yep. So your wheelchair would have to
Papa Willie, basically, to get up on it.
Some of them can.
And they can, but as far
Yeah,
as
it doesn't-
ADA compliance,
It does not meet that at all.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that
Wow.
kind of, now, having those two handicap parking places in the back would meet the ADA requirement.
Oh, uh-huh.
But as a traditional election day polling location, I think that it's not completely suitable.
Right.
As a limited early voting site, possibly. It still falls under the ADA compliance, but that's just something to think about.
Yeah.
We didn't realize, that there was no cutout on those close parking spaces.
So there's no way with, some of the temporary, devices that we use in some places to make a curb access available with a ramp or something like that.
We could definitely look into that and see, and that's something, yeah, we'll explore.
But is it that valuable that, I mean, we're gonna have to do a trade-off here, I think.
Yeah.
And that type of ramp that we might put in, then we take the risk of us installing it, and if something were to go wrong because it's something we installed, that's just a liability issue for us to look at.
Okay.
That doesn't mean in the future the city won't rectify that. If you see,
Is this city owned?
so that's gonna be the debate in 2024. It's
Oh.
one of these old leases that the American Legion had with the city, and the American Legion has had the lease for maybe 100 years or more. But they lose the lease, I think, in 2024 or 2023, and it goes back to the city, but there's something that maybe they can keep the lease. I don't know. Joe was explaining all of that to me. But the building is an historical building, so they can't tear it down or make any changes to it, but certainly if the city owned it, it would then have to meet ADA compliance. Now, across the street, there are handicap parking places, but because the police station is right there and it's all under construction, those are all completely gone.
Oh.
And so we couldn't count on using those in November. And then the voter would have to basically park and then go across the street, across the, to get there. So
That would be worse, I would think.
yeah, it's, when we went there the first time, we were just looking and we were thinking ADA, but we didn't notice the curb. When we went back, well, I sent Tanya and Ron out to do ADA rechecks on all of our sites this past week. And because they were looking for curbs, they saw it right away and they called me and they were like, so yeah.
Okay. Well, my tendency is to think cross it off for now.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's workable. I mean, if the city were willing to build some of those yellow ramps that go up and cut the curb, that'd be great. But, that's an adjustment that we can't expect to be made. They'd have to decide to do it. So, we can do without them, right?
Yes, this would have been, if it had been compliant, our replacement for Archer, but since Archer is, once it's there, reassured us that, they, are happy to host us, then we don't necessarily need this location. So.
But we can keep it on the back burner.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Rec Center.
So we went and visited Temple Baptist, and that is less than a mile away from the Springdale Rec Center. I do know we are moving out, we would be moving out of a city-owned facility into a church. And I know that sometimes can cause concern, but since we've been in the rec center, we've had complaints about the noise level, the accessibility, in the sense that they feel like they have to go a long ways to get to the site. Temple Baptist is less than a mile from Springdale Rec Center. They have a gymnasium, which is completely ADA. It's a separate building, and the location-wise, I think is a great place. I do think it is a suitable replacement for the Springdale Rec Center, because no matter what, I think even if the Springdale Rec Center tries to accommodate us, we're always going to be going against a basketball schedule or a soccer schedule or something along those lines, that makes it hard for us to stay at Springdale Rec. So I think.
And Temple has been a polling site in the past.
Yes, it was, and one of the reasons, I remember when we went into Temple, one of the reasons we kind of chose to close it over Nazarene. We had always been in the main part of the church, and it had these columns all down the middle of the entryway, which made it hard for us to set up because it wasn't one big open space.
Right.
And so when we were closing, because we had those three just right on top of one another, because of that, we kind of thought, well, let's just go to Nazarene. They do have a gymnasium, though, that's the site that they showed us, that will be able to do. It has one door for the entrance, but when we set it up, we'll be able to like go into the gym, and then they exit out another door and come out. So it meets all of our needs.
Yeah.
And they have the availability for us. The only thing they won't have available is for the runoff election for the city of Springdale. That first week of December is a big church sale that they do. That's not uncommon for us to have to close that site. And Nazarene is so close that for a runoff election, I don't think that would cause any issues.
Yeah.
So they're willing to allow us to have that facility, that building, without any basketball games or practices or whatever.
Yeah, so our
Exhibition games.
team can go in and set up, and then on election day for the voters, it will be quiet in there. You know, it won't be loud.
Yeah.
And so, I do think that is a good move. And, you know, without Max here today, I think we should wait to vote on that, but that is my suggestion, is, moving. So.
It sounds good to me.
And then for Weddington Fire, I have been thinking about, you know, closing it, not closing it. But I think I have a new solution for it by putting an additional supervisor there. Because I think I'll have someone that I can borrow from Wheeler to put there. So I don't want to, like I said, we shouldn't vote on these without Max here, but I think I actually may have a viable solution for Weddington Fire and be able to keep it open. But I still would like to see us have some poll workers from that community rather than borrowing poll workers from other communities. So
Have you talked to the supervisor about that specifically?
Yes, I have, but I haven't heard back from her on whether she has been able to recruit. But it's one of those areas that is in the growth area for the city of Fayetteville. It's not in Fayetteville yet, but it certainly is in the growth area. There's certainly quite a few neighborhoods growing up in that area. So it would be one that, you know, if we can't find enough poll workers, certainly we won't have a choice. But I think I'm on the road to finding a good solution for it.
When you say an additional supervisor, what do you?
So the problem we had at the last election was not that the supervisor wasn't thorough, she was too thorough, and,
This is the one that we
waited on. And, so
Well, my question is, are we talking an additional supervisor or a replacement
Kind of a
supervisor?
replacement,
Okay.
yeah. So that,
Very clear.
that we know we need those supplies back to the courthouse in a timely manner.
Sure.
And, so I definitely think that, I've got a working solution for that at this moment. I just need confirmation back, so yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, move on.
And, I talked to the city of Fayetteville. They are not planning on doing any construction at Yvonne Richardson Center, so we will have it available for
okay.
the general election. Now, Rock Street, though, if you've noticed, is completely under construction.
Oh, I haven't been down that way, so.
So it definitely, you know, I don't know how much that will impact our voter turnout at Yvonne Richardson
Yeah.
Center, but there are other ways to get to it. But
Right.
Rock is one, you know, definitely that's one of the known streets that's
Okay.
under complete construction right now.
Well, for people who use that as a polling site, they will be aware already, I would think.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll keep that from being a big issue. Okay, and that's all we've got on election day sites for now.
Mhm.
Hopefully we won't have any more to add to them, bless you.
No, my Weddington community, one of my tiny sites, I thought I wasn't gonna have enough poll workers there, but I got an email back from the supervisor and she said she's got 4.
Yay.
So that's what we need to keep it open.
Oh, good deal. Okay, let's move on to the ballot layout then.
Okay. All right, so please note, names, nothing like that has been approved, certified. This just lets us get started on the layout and know how we need to create the ballot and, what potential problems we may face when creating the ballot. So you have a 4-column versus a 3-column ballot. And there's a couple of reasons I like the 4-column ballot versus the 3-column ballot. I know that Max likes the 3-column ballot in regards to the spacing, and I can totally see that in regards to the spacing, for it. But the thing that, I've been thinking about for this ballot layout is when you look at, the second page of the 3-column ballot layout, there's the Washington County special election that we have to deal with. So there's 3 parts to that election, question, basically. There's the verbiage, which if you see it's on the bottom of column 1.
Right.
And then where you actually vote is on column 2. And it lays out a little bit differently on different precincts. This is our biggest precinct that we have. So this is Springdale 3, so this is our biggest precinct. On some of the precincts, all three line up in one column. Some of the precincts, the verbiage and the jail improvement bond are together, and then the juvenile court is by itself. So there's different layouts of how that appears based on the precincts, because that's based on the candidates and everything that lays out.
Right.
This ballot also, if we take issue 4 off the table, which is the marijuana issue, this will force us for some precincts, all of Springdale, to be a actual 2 sheets. So that poses a problem in regards to when we're counting
Right.
and running the ballots through the DS-200 and a reject.
Were we not told initially that it was no problem by ES&S?
I'm confirming with John Moody, we have new software
Oh, okay.
now, so that's why I wanted to
Okay.
ask the question beforehand, and when I talked to ES&S, he said, oh, yeah, we should think about that. I was like, yeah, we should. Not wait till election day to think about it. So definitely, we're gonna test,
Yeah.
once we print some ballots, we're gonna test that theory. But if we go to the 4-column ballot, which this is for absentee voters, if we go to the 4-column ballot, we're able to anchor the Washington County special election on the back page.
All of it in the
that
same column,
So
yeah.
every single precinct will be exactly the same on where this lays out. There won't be any flux between it being in column 1 and column 2 and different things like that.
Right.
If you'll notice too, issue 1, 2, and 3 are completely all on this one page, which means that issue 4, which I don't truly know if it's issue 4, but is a single page to itself. If that does get taken off the ballot, then that's a page we don't have to keep and we don't have to worry about. So those kind of are why I prefer I prefer the column 4 ballot over the column 3 ballot.
So, are we confident that 1, 2, and 3 will be on the ballot, or?
Yes, those
Okay.
are the, state-approved
Right.
issues.
Okay,
So,
so there's not gonna be any last-minute judge yanking them?
No,
Okay.
no. The only 2 that were by the people was issue, I am saying it's issue 4, I don't know.
Yeah,
It could have been
yeah.
issue 5, I'm not really 100% sure.
Right.
The marijuana legalization one, it had enough signatures, but the title was what they,
Of course.
rejected, so it's
Yeah.
under lawsuit. The
Okay.
other, referendum or the initiative by the people, it failed to get enough signatures, and that was the Polk County and the, Polk County, casino one.
Casino, yeah.
So
Okay,
not
so that
only-
one's off
That one is,
completely.
it didn't even get enough signatures, so it's not even looking like a possibility.
Okay.
This is also, we're assuming this is the language, we had to pull this from just from different sources, but we wanted to see what our layout of our ballot looks like. For those reasons, that's why I like ballots, the 4-column ballot.
I agree. I like that the special election is all in order. And, I mean, because otherwise, that is going to confuse people.
That was my worry, is that it doesn't lay out. And for the 3-column ballot, we can't anchor it like we can the 4-column ballot.
Well, that's what I was wondering on the 3. You can't push that to the next column.
No, because it will then, if we do, it will then push like issue 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, right.
And so if we can, it's always best to have one sheet ballot, okay? You know, because then the voter doesn't fail to return the second sheet, or not see it, or the DS-200 not reject it. So if at all possible, you always want to have a single sheet, when you can, and that's what the 4-column ballot gives us.
Yeah. Well, I guess since Max has, voiced his opinion on this, we need to kind of put this off until he's with us, correct?
Well, he said, when I talked to him earlier this morning, he would defer to the commission, but we can certainly kind of keep it, what you're making kind of a judgment call. If you guys prefer the 4-column one, we'll stick with tweaking it, but if you're undecided, we'll kind of keep tweaking both of them. The 26th is the ballot draw, which means that this ballot is a set system, because we still have to go in and switch the names and all of that. But certainly we'll keep both of these as we have and just kind of tweak, you know, as we go. But definitely on the 26th, you would need to make a decision, because.
Can you give me some clarity on what Max said he likes about the 3-column version?
And this is the comment that, because I've asked our staff and other people too, it's the space.
Mhm.
If you'll notice on the 4-column ballot, the offices are a little bit tighter, and the spacing for the names is a little bit smaller.
But the font size is the same on.
The font size is the
You're
same.
talking about-
It's just the spacing of it and the compactness of it. And, you know, and certainly it's a concern, because when you think about this ballot is going to people who've requested an absentee ballot,
Mhm.
which means that, you know, visually it needs to be appealing to that voter to be able to understand the flow of the ballot. One thing we did change from when I had originally sent approved, I went back to look at it because I thought, okay, how can I make the 4-column more appealing and more understandable where the races are?
Mhm.
And we flipped the darkness, so we made the header for federal, state
Right.
lighter, but the offices, because there's more of those, we made that darker, so
Mhm.
that it gives you a definition of which contest it is. But yeah.
Well, I will say, I don't like the 3 because it moves a state contest, just one,
Yep.
to the back.
Mhm.
And, I think I would almost like it if that state contest could be on the front, but that may, I don't know what your limitations
It
are.
won't.
Okay.
When it knows it doesn't have enough space,
Oh,
it moves it to the back.
yeah,
That's the other thing.
it's an
with-
automatic thing.
Mhm. That's the other thing with the column 4. We get
Mhm.
all of the federal,
Right.
state, and county on the front page. Then we get the county question,
Yeah.
then the nonpartisan and the municipal. So it doesn't switch back and forth between, some of the ballots might have part of the county on the front or part of the
Right.
state on the front. It does keep it all on the front page.
Yeah.
So I did like that about it as well.
Now, question on the state rep, on the 4-column, state rep District 9, it looks like, is there a write-in there at the bottom? Or
No.
is that,
That's just a rolling line, but we
Okay.
can remove that
Okay.
if you feel like that's kind of
distracting?
to the
Yeah.
voters. We
Well, I mean, especially because on the governor, you do have a
Right.
write-in line, and it's parallel.
Right, but we can remove
Okay.
that bottom line, we can go through and look at those kind of things and make those, and those are the kind of tweaks that we were kind of
Mhm.
talking about.
Mhm.
Because visually, we want the ballot to be easy for the voter to
Right.
read.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got to be able to navigate it.
Well, I appreciate Max's position and argument, but I think one could make an argument that it's easier for the voter to have fewer pages to deal with,
Absolutely.
and have everything neatly, and especially these races here neatly on the front, and then the back becomes a different types of races and stuff like that. So, I don't know what you need, but as far as I'm concerned, I would say, let's work on tweaking the
The
4
4.
Okay.
column.
Yeah, let's put this in reserve.
Yeah, we've got them separate, so we'll keep, you know, and if for some reason you were like, no, we changed our mind, we really like the 3-column one, we definitely can do that, but I didn't want to, just move forward with what we, you know, kind of,
Right.
what we thought and
Your
there-
decision.
Yeah. And the special election for Washington County, that one I really, when it has that separate language, that is kind of like the explainer
Mhm.
of the questions you're voting on, I like keeping that all together.
Now, unlike the marijuana thing, the special election language is already determined.
Yes, all of this has been given to us, yes, and so that's their language. We will also send this to the attorney for
Okay,
them
good.
to review, but, I don't want to necessarily send them both options. The commission
Right.
makes the decision
Yeah.
on this, but they need to make sure that we have everything included on it. But, you know, we went through so much with 2020 with having candidates on two different pages.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I was so sensitive to ballot
Yeah.
language being in different columns, that we paid more attention to it this time.
Good.
You know, the other thing we had no control of.
Right.
This time we do have we have a lot more control over this,
Okay.
since we have the new software.
Okay, good. Yeah, if we can get it down to a front and back ballot, I vote
Yeah.
for it. That makes a lot more sense. Your thoughts?
I'm good, I'd
And
say.
then, Ken, I want to show you something on the express vote.
Oh, okay.
So, probably have to come up here and look.
All right.
So, on the express vote, same kind of thing about the columns and the flow of the issues.
Oh, you've got them set up.
Yes, so this is their, so I'm gonna do Boston because Boston is one of our smaller ballots. Okay, so this page is identical for both of them, and this is, it's hard to like. So this is a 3-column ballot, so this is what everybody's gonna see, and I think it's really easy.
On their first
window, right?
Okay.
Now, the difference between this paper ballot and the express vote ballot is they have no choice but to go to the other,
True,
pages.
yeah.
As opposed to the 3-column where they might skip the back page completely.
Right.
This, you have no choice.
Right.
So if you choose, when we go to the next page, so this is what we did. See how on this one, this ballot language appears here?
And it's like, if you're not looking very well, what's that all about?
Exactly. And then you have this and this.
Right.
So we can anchor this
Yeah.
here. On some ballots, this will be a completely blank space. On some ballots, I'll show you Springdale, which is the ballot you're looking at over there, there'll be more here.
Mhm.
But by anchoring it, we keep the language all together, and we don't lose this explainer
Yeah.
here with the two questions.
Mhm.
So,
And again, you're not able to push this all the time.
no, it flows the way it wants to flow into,
Okay.
unless we say we want it in this column,
Gotcha.
which means that nothing else, so it's that way for every single ballot.
Yeah.
So that way it's completely anchored here, as opposed to this where it flows.
Yeah. Okay.
And then your next,
So, you couldn't anchor that in here, is what you're saying, which would force that over there.
right, because I'll show you on the Springdale ballot why I can't anchor it in
Because
this
you
column.
need that space.
I need that space for that JP race.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So then the next page would be more, and this puts issue 2 and issue 3 here. And then this becomes now a 5-page ballot, and this is a 4-page ballot. But honestly, for other elections, if we didn't have this new software, this would be a 25-page ballot. So going to 5 pages is not a big deal. It's a win.
Yeah.
For it, and then it's that issue,
Okay.
and then you review your selection.
Got it.
Okay, so. Oh, okay. And we also tested too, we voted the ballot with the candidates with the longest name.
Oh, yeah.
To see how they appeared on the ballot, and their whole names appeared on the ballot. So, they're like, I just had to go through and said, your voting longest name.
Who is the longest?
It's Supreme Court Justice,
Oh.
Associate Justice,
Okay.
her name all fit on there. but on this one, see that justice of
Oh,
the peace
yeah.
has to appear that. That's why we can't anchor it in column 2, we have to anchor it here.
And
So-
I think that's perfect.
Right. And see, on this one, see how these two are together, but this flows over by itself.
Yeah.
So that's why I think even though on that ballot there may be space, I feel like anchoring this all together
agree.
as one issue is important.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and I feel like that's the way it should be done, with it being a county-wide,
Mhm.
question or questions.
Yeah.
It gives it some unity.
Well, and there's no, in this way, when a voter votes, they can't ever say they didn't see this part.
Good
Because
point.
it's always connected, or they didn't realize that this part went with this.
Absolutely.
Right,
Because
right.
it goes with the whole question,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah,
Makes sense.
so.
yeah, I think that's, we ought to be done.
Okay. We'll go forward with this for the express vote,
Okay.
anchoring it, even though it leaves a space in that, I
Yeah.
feel like,
How are you?
for the voter, that's
Yeah.
important, so.
And that leaves space there, which.
It does, but there's no, if you look,
Yeah.
that, yeah. I don't even know how to say. Well, when you,
This is all considered to ballot title.
as far
Wow.
from what we can tell, it is. So, yeah.
Gee, I wonder why they throw those things out. Good job.
And this is another, if anyone ever wondered about us being a PYO county, this is another reason for us to be a
Oh, my
PYO
goodness,
county.
yeah.
If you just send this to ES&S, they're just gonna do it and send it back to you, and you
Right.
have no idea that there's all these other ways you could lay the
Yeah.
ballot out.
Yeah, good point. Well, okay, so y'all are gonna continue to work on the 4-column ballot and then finalize, once we do the ballot draw, finalize the positions
Yes.
and so forth. Anything else on that?
Well, for the candidates.
Oh, right.
Okay. So when a person files, or when you have a write-in candidate, they must file at the Secretary of State's office. But then they also must send every county election commission a notice of candidacy
Across the state.
across the state, so that's 75. So
Times 3.
we had received in our office,
Oh.
Dan Nelson, Elvis Presley, Richard Grant, and Michael Woodard. You received Jason Tate,
And you didn't?
and I didn't,
Wow.
which meant that it's not consistent on where they file. It needs to be, if you wanted them to file in each individual county, it has to be with the county clerk's office. It cannot be with the election commissioners, because you've got 3 election commissioners. There's no consistency on which one do you send it to, which office do you send it to, you know, and not every county has a coordinator or has an office in the county. So if this hadn't gotten to you, we would have, now we know, and it's August the 10th was the deadline for them to file, but because this was mailed on the 29th, we'll go and backdate it. But, we wouldn't have known to count votes for this candidate because it was just sent to your home.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's where you're supposed to file notice
Yeah.
of candidacy.
Good point.
So but all these people have filed with the Secretary of State.
Yes.
Why isn't that sufficient?
there's this part of the law that requires them to do this, and that's,
But you're saying this change the law,
yes,
so they send it to the county
County
clerk.
county clerk or the Secretary of State's office, which
If, once it's at the Secretary of State's office, why isn't that?
I don't know.
But you say you haven't seen this person's
Nope.
name, even though this person's supposedly filed with the Secretary of State.
Yes, I knew that they had filed with the Secretary of State's office, but I hadn't seen their notice of candidacy sent to our
Yeah.
election commission.
Okay, now, do you have other candidates that you know have filed in the Secretary of State's office?
There's one more, and that's for, there was supposed to be a write-in candidate for Attorney General.
Okay.
I've not seen any paperwork for that write-in candidate,
Ah.
which means if you notice, we didn't put a write-in line for Attorney General because if they don't file with us, we cannot put the write-in line for that office.
Okay. And once they have a line in here that says write-in, are you putting, some kind of notice on who the candidates potentially are for that?
We won't put it on the machines because I feel like that
Mhm.
then draws attention to that particular candidate.
Right.
But every polling location has what the notice of election posted at their polling
Oh, okay.
location. And that lists all the candidates.
Okay.
So it will be posted with the notice of election, but I feel like posting it on the machine
Right.
just then gives that candidate more attention than another
Mhm.
candidate.
Mhm.
So it's posted with the notice of election.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to determine how how voters would know going in, well, there is possibly a
Right.
write-in on this one.
Right. Now, we may post something that says a write-in candidate must be a candidate that has filed, because otherwise they might decide to put their neighbor's name in there.
Right.
And that obviously won't count, even if, let's say, they won, that neighbor won, because they never filed.
Right.
They're not countable names.
Okay.
So, yeah, so.
All right, so, you have to keep close tabs on Secretary of State's office to make sure you've got all of the write-in candidates,
Mhm.
that you know who they are.
Well,
for each
that, plus them randomly
Mhm.
mailing these
Mhm.
to the election commission.
race. Right.
So you don't, you don't put their name on the ballot until you have a copy of that,
Well,
document.
we actually, if you'll notice, under U.S. Senate, there's the little line that says
Mhm.
write-in.
Yeah.
So we don't put that line correct until we get this notice of candidacy.
Okay.
So we've never received notice of candidacy from the person who filed
Mhm.
to be a write-in candidate for Attorney General.
All right.
So we don't.
But that
go on there.
person has filed with the Secretary of State.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is pretty confusing overall.
Why doesn't the Secretary of State, if they're filed with the Secretary of State, doesn't the Secretary of State send out to all the counties that this person filed as a write-in?
Because they do, they will when they certify the names, but if you'll note, oh, well, you don't have it. If you'll look on, this is the part of the law for like, that
Oh,
he
yeah.
sent, where it says that they have to file with the county, commissioners.
And that's the law at this point,
Yep.
right?
Okay, I guess I'm talking in terms of, not in terms of what the law is now, because apparently we've got a mess with the law.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
What I'm talking in terms of why, to clean it up, why do we want to change where they're mailing this? If they filed with the Secretary of State, why can't that be the way that their name gets put out to all the counties?
And it could be, and that would be a simple law change.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be the simplest way to do it.
Yeah, and then that would be, because their names come certified to us, like all the other candidates, their names come certified, and then they would certify these names to us. That would be the easiest law change.
Okay.
After all, the Secretary of State's office is kind of in charge of all the elections.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, well, put that on your list. All right, are we finished with that, or do we need to have any other sub-points
If we get any of
on it?
these, we get them to you, right?
Yes, please let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think the one from Dan Nelson, was it, that came on the email?
Yes, and I, had confirmed with.
Okay.
I got that one in mail.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, and that's why it's random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no sense, yeah, okay. All right, precinct update, you haven't done that yet, have you?
No, we are working on that. At our next meeting, we'll have the maps and the forms. We have had to add several precincts, within the city of Fayetteville
Mm-hmm.
because of the ward lines. And so, we've gone in and cleaned those up. And then in Springdale, there was an annexation that, has occurred, and so there, in Springdale Township 3 and Township 1, parts of those areas are now in the city, so we're cleaning up that precinct line. And then there was an annexation in Prairie Grove City, and so we're having to take part of Prairie Grove Township 2 and create a new precinct, which is Prairie Grove City 5. So I'll have all of those laid out for you to sign with maps and everything, but basically, they're necessitated from wards
Mm-hmm.
and, annexations. So
Okay,
they're, yeah.
okay, so that is to be for the future. All right, other business,
Come in.
nothing? Nothing else? Nope. All right, we are meeting on August the 26th for a ballot draw, and you've notified the party chairs?
I've notified the party chairs, I sent a note out to them. We mailed letters to all of the candidates, including the municipal candidates. It's been posted on the county's website, and then a newspaper, publication will be this Sunday in the retail section.
Oh, okay,
So, yeah.
Sunday. Okay. I'm told that the JP4, is it, will be, determined on the 20th.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, then, since there is no other business, we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies.